Again, we're gonna slightly saturate the hair so it's easier to pick up with our clipper of a comb. As you can see, we're using our vertical cuts to blend and our horizontal cuts to debulk. Now that we're done with the back, I'm moving back to the C-cups with our gold FX, and I'm making sure I detail as much as possible. Moving on to the other side of the C-cup, we're going to use our corner of the blade to go as slow as possible and make sure that the hair feeds into the teeth of the trimmer. Moving on to our shear work, we're going to saturate the top and create our first guideline in the middle of the capitus. You always want to make sure the hair is nice and laid down in the direction the hair is growing so you could get a nice and even cut. As you can see, we're making our way to the sides and we're following that same guideline we made right across the middle. Again, I hope you guys are enjoying the video. Please leave a like, comment, and subscribe. It's greatly appreciated. Also, if you guys want to support the channel, make it keep going, go ahead and leave the super thanks down below or follow the Instagram. As you can see, we're using our thinning shears to thin out the hair as much as possible. Since my little brother's hair is very straight, we're going to give it some texture. Here we're grabbing the hair near the parietal ridge and we're cutting it at an angle, and this is going to thin it out and making sure that the parietal ridge isn't too thick. Never forget those finishing details. I'm going back to my previous guards, making sure I get as many dark spots as possible. Now that we're done with our shear work, we can move on to the side taper, and we're going to use our gold FX to create our first guideline. Now that we're done butting them out, we can move on to our no guard all the way open and create our second guideline. Once we're done setting in this guideline, we're then going to close the lever midway and all the way closed and attack that initial guideline. Now that we're done erasing our initial guideline, we can move on to our one guard all the way open and create our third guideline. Remember, we're going to use this same guard and its lever to soften up this line and get ready for the half guard. Now that we're done with our lower guards, we can move on to our two guard all the way open and create our fourth guideline. We're then going to use the lever and its corners to soften up this line and get ready for the 1.5 guard. Before I finish up the taper, I'm gonna make sure I pin up the hair so I don't cut any hairs I don't want to cut. Now I'm using my 3 guard all the way open and my comb to feed the hair into the clipper to debulk as much as possible. In order for me to make the taper as smooth as possible, I need to use my clipper over comb method and especially cut at an angle. Now that we're done with our clipper over comb, we're going to switch over to our 4 guard all the way open and begin to debulk. Here I'm using my previous guards to detail as much as possible, and I'm definitely using the corners because I don't want to go too high. Moving on to our guard effects, we're going to make the back line as crispy as possible, where I like to start off at the bottom and work my way to the top arch using the corners of the blade. Also, for the beginners, don't be afraid to move the ear out of the way, it won't hurt them. Now that we're done lining up the nape area, we can move on to the sideburn and use our no guard all the way open. Now that we're done erasing our first guideline of the sideburn, we can move on to our one guard all the way open and create our second guideline. Now that we're done fading the sideburns, we can move on to our guard effects and line up the C-cup. I always like to start off at the bottom and work my way to the top arch, especially using the corners of the blade. And you also want to go as slow as possible, making sure that the hair feeds into the teeth of the trimmer, because if not, then the hair's going to shift and you won't line them up properly. Here I'm detailing the beard some more, and I'm also using my 1.5 guard to debulk. Going back to our guard effects, we're going to line up the back of the beard and we're going to make it as crispy as possible. You also want to be very gentle here because the skin is very delicate in this area. Before we line him up, we're going to debulk his hairline with the 1.5 guard all the way open. Now that we're done debulking his hairline, we could use our guard effects to start off in the middle and work our way to the sides. Again, you want to make sure you take your time here and make sure that the hair feeds into the teeth of the trimmer, because if not, then the hair is going to shift and then you won't line them up properly. I hope you guys are enjoying the video. Please leave a like, comment, and subscribe. It's greatly appreciated. Also, if you guys want to show some extra support for the channel, go ahead and leave a super thanks down below, or go ahead and follow the Instagram. When lining up the bottom of the mustache, you want to make sure you're very light-handed because you could nick them with the teeth of the trimmer. Now that we're done lining up the mustache, we can move on to the bottom of the beard. We're gonna start off at the middle and work our way to the sides. I wasn't able to get the razor work on camera, so you're mainly gonna see me work with the trimmers.